I'm really happy to be here. I'm usually with you on the second Sunday of each month, and it's a delight to be with you now. I was in Oaxaca, Mexico for the first time ever. I was there with my daughter Ava, celebrating her college graduation and celebrating the wedding of some friends. It was a beautiful experience and really invited us to slow down and connect with the land and the people and the food and the saltwater waves of the ocean. Very simple 12 days. And it made it really easy to stay open, to just stay open to joy and beauty and discovery and love and meeting new people and being vulnerable and authentic and all of that. It was very easy to stay open. And then I came home and connecting to the title of last Sunday's class, World on Fire, last Sunday's meditation, I came home to a world on fire, and I'm no longer kind of in this refuge of being in the southern part of Mexico. I'm back 6 miles from the White House here. So it really deepened my inquiry in how do we stay open in this path, in this life, and why do we want to? Why should we? And how do we do it? So that's what we're going to explore today. I invite you now, we're going to begin with practice and really come into the body and come into the direct experience of being open. And then we'll explore with a Dharma talk and sharing. We'll have mindful movement, which is always a highlight. And then we'll have some time for community connection with questions, reflections, and sharing. So that's our game plan. We'll walk here together, as Ram Dass says, and we'll begin in the body, in the heart. I invite you to stretch a little bit. Maybe you're not too tense since we just started, not too stiff, but just stretching the body is a beautiful way to prepare for going within. I invite you to close your eyes. I also invite you to leave them open if that feels like what you're called to do right now. Eyes open meditation is a beautiful practice. You just soften the gaze. You're aware of your surroundings and you're being mindful of not being hooked by anything that's coming into the visual field. So we're just bringing intentionality to how we're showing up, how we're arriving. You can feel the body, feel the feet on the floor. If they touch, feel the legs and the hips and the back. Maybe you're sitting in a chair on a sofa, noticing the contact points. Arriving in the body, right here, right now. So gentle. We train as bodhisattva warriors with strength and softness all at once. So we gently arrive in the body. Sitting does not have to be a stern, uncomfortable, painful experience, we tune into the body, arrive gently, listen. If you need to shift, shift. If you need to stand, stand. Now bring attention to breathing. Wow, what a miracle this is. The body being breathed. Nothing to do, nothing to count. Just noticing the body being breathed. Receiving that gift of life. Feeling the in-breath and the out-breath. Thich Nhat Hanh instructs us to experiment with a mantra. Breathing in, I'm aware that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I'm aware that I'm breathing out. In, out. Breathing in, here. Breathing out, now. Sensing the body, the aliveness, all the signals and signs of vitality. Those we can sense, those we can't. Cells replicating, telomeres growing, DNA reproducing, heart beating, lungs expanding. I'm sensing a well of gratitude arising right now at the miracle of this body. Immune cells circulating, protecting, oxygen flowing. Wow. Awe, gratitude. Sensing the aliveness that's right here in this moment, deliberately directing attention to the gift of being alive. Feeling the strength of the body, body like mountain. Feeling the mind settle like a clear lake, mind like water. feeling the heart fresh, unfolding, delicate, beautiful, flower fresh. Bringing attention back to breathing, feeling the rise and fall of the abdomen, even putting a hand on the belly, hand on the heart. And now bringing attention to you and this identity that you're inhabiting as a human, moving through this life, the roles you play, the people you encounter, the news you take in, the spaces you volunteer, the families you help, just stepping into this life. The life in the external. And just bring a tender inquiry to where is it hard in your life to stay open? What does it mean to stay open? Heart open, the flower unfolding. Where do you tend to contract? To step back? To tighten? To push away? Deny? Avoid? Ignore? Is it watching what's happening to our beloved earth? Is it not wanting to be in communication with your next door neighbor? Is it in a relationship, spouse, partner, sibling? Is it the whole tangled ball of what's happening with this world on fire? Where does it hurt? Where is it hard? And there may be more than one place. We're just bringing the light of awareness to our own journey, step by step. Scanning, thinking about key relationships, thinking about where you're showing up in the world and where you are not. We scan our lives with curiosity and compassion. There's no judgment here. It's this beautiful inquiry, deepening self-awareness, Where is it hard for me to stay open? What makes me retreat and protect? So pick one of those spaces or places or relationships or causes. Often it's family or a certain family member. But just choose one. Envisioning a scenario, conversation, phone call, lack of a phone call, maybe you felt shut out. And then we move into the defense, protection. We armor up, we step back, we turn away. And just sensing what's your way of defending. For some people it's anger or fighting back. For some people it's deflection or obfuscation, or for some people it's going silent or isolating. Just looking at the humanness of you. Where is it hard to stay open? Who is it hard to stay open with? And now deepening attention here. Feeling the bodhisattva embodied bravery, the strong back, body like mountain, shoulders, curve of the back, arms, legs, power, strong back, soft front. Can I be with this? Can I bring my bodhisattva nature and be right here? Can I be open to this person? Can I be open to what's arising in me? Feeling the power of who we are. Inviting in the full catastrophe, or at least part of it. Sensing emotions rising in the body in those moments. As you work with this, you might deepen attention into a comment that made you contract, an event, person. Just deepening right into the scene and then sensing the body. Emotions are physiological sensations that rise. They're data. They're showing us our tender spots. Just feeling that. The first two steps of rain, recognize and allow. This is staying open, not turning away, not finding refuge in the phone. Staying right here. Wow, strong back, soft front. And then the next step is recognizing that you are not alone. You are holding this in a wider field of loving awareness. And in that field is the energy and reality of Sangha. All the people right here, shoulder to shoulder in this moment, holding what's difficult, being brave together. So widening awareness from the internal sensations, the body, the emotions, the thoughts, stories, and widening out, shoulders expanding, feeling the truth of community. And that again is a close-in truth. We can also feel right here the truth of our humanity, our shared humanity. Whatever is hard to stay open to for you is also hard for many, many, many people. In your geography, in your workplace, in our country, in the world. This is our shared experience. So we go from small, isolated self to wider we. We are moving together. We are holding together. You might put one hand on your heart, feeling the life that's here, the tenderness, the sorrow or sadness, the anger, the grief, the joy, the delight. Some people struggle with staying open to that. And then take the left hand and put it on the back of someone here right now. Or you might put it on the back of a friend, a spiritual friend, a childhood friend, a family member, a neighbor. And if you really want to be the open, loving bodhisattva, put it on the back of someone that kind of caused you to contract in the first place. We got you. Yeah. Sending love, sending strength. Breathing. Feeling the energy, the support, the love on your own back. We can do this. We strengthen in community. And now, for step 3, see if you can widen the aperture even more into that broader field of loving awareness. You are a ray coming from the sun, and you are the sun. So moving from the ray into the sun, feeling that full truth. Some use the metaphor of you are the wave and the ocean. You're not moving alone. You're not loving alone. You're not feeling sad alone. We are all connected, interbeing. As Thich Nhat Hanh calls it, we inter-are. So we ever so gently expand so that we are actually held by the field, by Source, by God, by nature. The language doesn't matter. The language is fingers pointing to the moon. Resting here. Strong back, soft front, walking together. Breathing together. Resting in the field that is already here, always here. Bringing attention back, gathering attention and awareness, bringing it back, resting it on the breath. Conscious breathing is my anchor. Breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. Body like mountain. Mind clear like water. Heart open, fresh. Enjoy a few cycles of breathing here together. The in-breath, the out-breath, and the space in between the breaths. I'll invite the bell. You can follow the sound to the end, slowly opening your eyes. Thank you for your practice. Sensing what's here, this exquisite moment, practicing together. Just sensing what's here in your heart, your body. You can put anything in the chat that you'd like to share. The chat is how we share and connect in this virtual space together. Feeling really deep peace and deep gratitude for every one of you. So take a moment. We'll just take like a 1 or 2 moment stand and stretch. And then we'll have some exploration on the topic of the courage to stay open. So just a little, I'm going to just stretch here in my space. So welcome back. I see some empty chairs. It's always a risk, you know. It's always a risk giving that 1 or 2 minutes. But I think it's important. As Emily teaches us, you know, we're paying attention to the body, what the body needs. So I really needed that meditation, and I feel so in my own body. I feel very expanded and very connected to all of you, and that's really kind of a discovery that we have to discover. I would say experientially, we have to discover the truths of the Dharma, the universal teachings, through practice, not through reading. You know, I've got a stack of amazing books all the time around me. Right now I've got I Am That, Sri Nisargadatta. I've got Falling into Grace, Adyashanti. I always have a stack of books, and I love to read, but I don't seem to really get it until I practice it. So I love that we come together and practice, and then we can share some teaching together. And the reason this is so important right now with the world on fire is it's really hard to stay open. And it's not a failing on any of our parts. It's not because we didn't go to enough Dharma talks, or our meditation practice has gotten slack, or, you know, we failed at this or dropped that ball. It's not. There are deep reasons why it's hard to stay open. And we close quickly, just like the flowers. I notice my hibiscus, they're so beautiful. I say my hibiscus, I didn't plant them. The woman who lived here for 60 years, Ginny, did, and they are just stunning. I'm going to have to share some pictures to our group email. They're just beautiful, just wide open, tall as I am, tender, delicate, and just also just holding their faces. They're like, hello, I'm here, wide open, beautiful. They have strong stems and soft flower faces, just like us. And they're open, and that's really what, you know, got me thinking. That, and just how challenging life is. You know, how do we stay open, and why do we want to stay open? Why? You know, it's not always wise, but in general, why? And so we close. We get a difficult email. We get a challenging text from someone, news we didn't expect, or a no to something we wanted a yes to, or a feeling of rejection, an argument, a frightening diagnosis, criticism. We feel lonely, or we feel sad. And in these conditions, we're taking in, you know, it can be in our own personal life, but a lot of it these days is that the larger world is on fire. It's really challenging. You know, I have a 22-year-old, just graduated from college, and I was in a restaurant last night, and I ran into one of my daughter's closest friends. It was actually born on exactly the same day my daughter was, May 15th, 2004. And I ran into this sweet friend of my daughter's, and it was like being able to hug Ava, you know. It was like, oh. And this sweet young woman said, she introduced me to all her friends. She said, she taught me how to meditate. And she told me about that practice, and I taught her down on a beach in Naples when we had all vacationed together. It was such a joy to see her. And I also heard from these three, as I've heard from my daughter and her friends, how hard it is to be 22 these days. How hard it is to be a human just starting out in an age of AI, or to see the impact of our decisions as humans on the planet and policy changes and all of that. And it's these young ones, right when they, want to be fierce and open and brave, or they're just titrating back and forth. And we are too in our walk. It's really hard to stay open. And when we contract and when fear arises, we have a physiological response, right? That the vision narrows. We can't see. And that's to keep us alive, right? Our vision narrows, our heart beats, our breath becomes shallow. That's the fight, flight, or freeze response. We're very familiar with it. But if we think about that, we understand that neurobiology, but what is the impact of that? When our vision narrows because we're anxious and afraid, we can't see possibility. We can't see another way. I was leading a retreat the last couple days here, a private retreat here at the clearing and in Kensington, and I had some folks out here, and we were talking about the challenge of grounding. And I was actually using the medicine wheel, the 4 elements of air, water, fire, and earth. And we were like moving around physically and connecting to each of those elements. And the element of water was really something that sparked a lot of discussion. And the element of water teaches us to be flexible and go around when there's obstacles, when there's that criticism or that shutdown in a conversation, or an action happens, budgets are cut, people are laid off, there's so much happening, war. When things feel like immovable obstacles, water, the element of water, teaches us it always finds a way around. However, when we are in fear and when we're anxious, our vision literally and physically narrows, and we can't see the possibilities. We can't see our way around. And this is why we want to cultivate and access the ability to stay open. And it's not easy. So we've got this biological wiring that's going to make us tighten. It's going to make us retreat. We have a psychological aspect too. And you may be thinking of that already. When fear is arising, when doors are shutting, when we feel cut off or lonely, we want to go into protection mode. I really love the body of work called IFS, Internal Family Systems, and it introduces the model of parts. We are not a unified mind. We've got our core essence, our highest self, our bodhisattva, true nature, that's compassionate and courageous and creative and kind and confident. But then we've got these parts. In some models, they call them coping mechanisms. In this model, they're called parts, and it's the part that judges. That's wrong, you're wrong. We have the part that is fearful, like, oh my God, I'm afraid, and the fearful part. It's almost like the movie, is it Inside Out, where we have the emotions that are personified. So we've got these parts, and they are there, many of them, if not all, to protect us. In the language of this model from Dick Schwartz, he calls them protector parts. And it's really healthy to think of them that way. His book is called No Bad Parts. We're not at war with ourselves. We're not like, oh my God, that judge, if I could just stop judging, or that, that fighter, if I would just stop fighting everybody when I get afraid. Instead of fighting internally, we're befriending the parts. And we're seeing the truth of who we are, the wiring of our biology. We contract, our heart beats, the breath gets shallow, we can't see, and then psychologically and physically, we withdraw, we isolate, we numb. I think Little House on the Prairie was just remade. I'm gonna binge that for a while. That's true, by the way. I just discovered that, and I reached out to a friend last night. I said, hey, what are you doing? And she said, I'm on the sofa in a blanket watching Little House on the Prairie. And I said, oh my gosh, that was my refuge as a kid. I read all the books, I watched and now it's out again. It doesn't have Michael Landon, but it's a wonderful place to withdraw and cocoon, which is what we want to do. And sometimes that's the healthy move. And other times we shut off life. We shut down our capacity to be connected, to feel alive, to give and receive love, to serve where this planet needs us. So this is what we're working with here. And we're not beating ourselves up. This is not about an inner critic saying, oh my gosh, you've retreated again. It's about tenderness. It's about curiosity and compassion to this life, this human form, this beautiful essence, and what's going on. And so I love the teachings of Pema Chodron and others that give us this idea of being a bodhisattva. And Pema describes a bodhisattva as the spiritual warrior who develops the courage to never give up. Not giving up on the world, not giving up on the planet, and saving it and helping it, like Costa Rica is. Like something just happened in Albania where there's this beautiful, natural, gorgeous cove in Albania, and there were some Trump family members that wanted to build a resort there. And a lot of people, celebrities, all kinds of people, fought back and protected that cove in Albania. So we don't give up. A bodhisattva is one who is tender and open to it all, turning towards life. Warrior is not about fighting. It's about someone whose heart remains available. That's the bravest thing of all, I'm finding. I've moved from homes and neighborhoods. I've moved from one state to another. I've moved to other countries and lived there. I've moved from San Francisco to Brazil and lived in Sao Paulo. I moved from Truckee, California to Germany. I moved from Germany to Montgomery County, Maryland. Each of these moves requires I've noticed a lot of courage, a lot of bravery. But I think that the bravest moments in my path has been staying open to love, staying open to other humans. And that's really the path we're walking, is noticing when we close, the biology, the nervous system, noticing when old wounds are touched, where we've been hurt before, where we've been betrayed, let down, felt shame. And history, the protectors are saying, don't go there again. Don't even do that. Like, shut down. So we're aware of these. Annie Mahan, who many of you may know, over at Circle Yoga in Chevy Chase, Maryland. She's just she's a uh, a Dharma teacher in the order of interbeing with Thich Nhat Hanh, and she calls them like a sore toe. I have a sore toe. These are the places where we have old wounds, and it's like we stub that sore toe, and it hurts, and we contract. So we start to learn these sore toes, these old wounds, and we sense and become aware of fears. And a lot of us close when there's a fear of rejection, or a fear of success, or a fear of joy. That's hard to believe, right? A fear of joy. Some people almost like they just can't open to like the overwhelm of the joy that's available, to the love that's available. That's something to really pay attention to, and just kind of go and let's do a little check-in on that. And just think about, are there expansive states of joy, of delight, laughter, play, that you also you have an upper limit on, like, I can't open to that all the way. There's usually a fear underneath that. There's a protector part even blocking that. Can I let go? Can I play? If someone tosses me the ball, will I catch it? Can I put music on and dance? Can I dance with others? Can I host the dance party? Just kind of looking within, curiosity and compassion, opening the eyes. And these pieces go hand in hand. When we close ourselves to pain, the world on fire, can't look at it. When we build the walls or retreat, we close ourselves to love. We can't selectively numb. That's the work of Brene Brown and others. The same heart that feels grief is the same heart, that hibiscus flower fresh, that feels wonder. I notice at night when I go out at dusk, all the hibiscus are closed for the night, and they come back. So we're tending to our heart this way. Openness allows vulnerability, and vulnerability, it's like that risk. Mark Nepo, the poet, calls it the exquisite risk. That allows intimacy. Intimacy allows trust. We, as a Sangha, are invited. We are encouraged. I almost want to say we are instructed to walk alongside of each other closely. This is how we do it. We walk together. We stand with immigrants. We walk children to school because their parents are afraid they'll be picked up. We paint our signs. We march. We show up for those who are ill and dying. And we do that together. And it takes a lot of bravery, because this is vulnerable work. Because we're going to look closely. We're going to see suffering. And we've got mirror neurons. We're going to resonate with the suffering of others. We're going to stay open. And when it feels too much, we step back. We close like the hibiscus flower. We lean on each other. We put our hand on each other's backs. We say, I got you. I'll walk with you. The price of armoring up is aliveness, losing that vitality. Mary Oliver says, when I die, I want to say that I was a bride married to amazement. I want to say that too. I want to say when I die, I was a bride married to amazement. I was able to love wholeheartedly, and I served where the world needed me. So we want to be open so that we can love and serve and support each other. And then life can move through us. When we're open, we're less reactive, we're less prickly, there's less friction. We allow that true nature to come through. So the practices, the how, what we're doing here is both accessing a natural, innate capacity that's already always here. We're remembering our true nature. And it's going to sound like a contradiction. We are strengthening. We're building capacity. We're practicing. We're making the glide path a little more smooth. That's neuroplasticity. What we practice gets stronger. So we practice pausing. We practice when we feel ourselves closing, when we notice the behavior that we've retreated. We practice pausing, inviting, allowing what's here. Thich Nhat Hanh says, feel the feelings, drop the story. Actually, I think Pema said that. Thich Nhat Hanh tells us to hold our tender feelings like a mother holds a crying baby. We're not like mad at the baby for crying. We're like, okay, dear one, I've got you. I see you. The feel the feelings and drop the story is also super powerful because we wrap narrative around everything. Just drop it. Just drop the story already. It's really hard to find any truth in story. It's all, narrative is all just reflected through the prisms of our own experience. It's not actually like the pure reality. So we just feel the feelings. Bring in love. What's happening? Can I soften 1% for 30 seconds? And then we invite the teaching of this belongs. This belongs, and I'm not holding it alone. I'm in community. We're walking together. May I remain open. May I sense my friends with me, both the seen and the unseen. I feel my brother, my mother, my grandmothers. That's another teaching from Thich Nhat Hanh. Feel your ancestors coming through you. Feel them with their hands on your back. Know that we are not alone. And then the third step in this how that we practice together is relaxing, softening, opening into the broader field of loving awareness. You're not holding this alone. The courage to stay open is one moment at a time, one breath at a time, pausing and feeling. Remember our interbeing, our community, our shared humanity, and then the broader field of loving awareness. And for you to make that loving awareness might feel like, oh yeah, it's totally how I think about it. Or maybe for you, like from it's nature. For me, I've got these twin sets of red oaks, 2 here, and then 2 firs, and they're my council of trees. They're walking with me, they're holding me. Nature is right here. So, what if the courage to stay open isn't about being fearless? What if it's about staying available, staying open, staying curious, staying compassionate, keeping the strong back and the soft front. Beginning again. So I'll leave you with this blessing. May I remain open when it's wise, with discernment. May I trust awareness. May I meet this moment with curiosity and compassion. And may I begin again, knowing that we are walking together. Thank you for being with me this morning and each moment and each day. Namaste.